Because I am not the my man, my man, my man type of girl either.
But I want to be. How do I become a my man, my man, my man girl?
I don't know. Maybe it's genetic. I have no earthly clue.
Hey, I'm Dejanique.
And I'm Elena. And this is Everything Eventually. This next conversation, honestly, it's a continuation of a conversation that we've already started off of the podcast, and felt like it was important to bring it back and give it its own time. And, it's really about how our parents have experienced life and how their lived experiences affect us as their children, and then how we take that and then make decisions about how we want to parent our own children. And it really begs the question is their best good enough for me as the child? And then how do I take that and translate that into how I show up every day for my own kids? And so that is the conversation that we are going to have today. Is their best good enough? So I'm really excited.
Not only is their best good enough, Elena, but who gets to decide if their best was good enough, right? Like, do they get to decide was their best good enough, or do the children, the grown adults now, do we get to give them a pass or failing grade? So I think it'll be interesting to explore this entire concept.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is definitely, I feel like, one of the more emotional, or a topic that tugs kind of hard at my heartstrings. I will say that for me growing up, I lost my older brother when I was 8, which is crazy to think that I lost my older brother at the same age that my oldest child now is. Wow. And it was sudden. He was unfortunately a victim of gun violence. And, it's like I remember the phone call. I was sitting on the top of the steps at my house, and the phone call came at like 6 a.m. and I was getting dressed, and I heard my mom answer the phone, and she was like, "No, my husband's not here. I'm his wife." And, you could hear it, like you could hear her thinking. You could hear, even though she wasn't saying a lot, like you could feel it through the air. Like it was crazy. And when she got off the phone, I knew something was wrong. And so, like, that day changed a lot in my house. And it fundamentally changed, especially my dad. My older brother was a child from my dad's previous marriage. And, they already had tension because he's 18, 18-year-old guy who thinks he knows everything probably. Yeah. And my dad was like, this is how things run at my house. And so he decided he wanted to live at his mom's house. So, like, there was already that tension between them. And then for my dad to lose him unexpectedly, it really changed my parents, like, fundamentally. And to this day, like, my younger brother is always like, I feel like I never got what I needed from them, and they weren't emotionally available. And I don't have those same lived experiences as him per se, but also to the question of was it enough, and who can decide whether it's enough or not? I kind of think that, like, there comes a point where, yeah, it may not have been enough, but what are you going to do about it as a 30-year-old adult? Like, do you decide to still live in it because it happened? Or, like, do you decide to do something about it and figure out how to make something of the pieces that are your life,
So let me interject, because this is already so much to unpack, and we've only been here for like 2.5 seconds.
Literally.
So, losing a child is probably everyone's worst nightmare, right?
Yeah.
What changed in your mom and your dad for your brother to have this lens of, I didn't get what I needed from them, and for you to say everything changed in my house that day? What was different?
I think they emotionally didn't know how, in some aspects, to still be available. I think that they were trying to process the loss at the same time that they were raising. I was 8. I had another brother who is 6, and my youngest brother was like 1. So when that happened, like, I had 8 years of my parents. My brothers were so young that, like, I think the trauma made it harder for my parents to connect emotionally. We had everything we needed. They provided for us. We did everything we could. We had the things that we could want or needed. But I think emotionally, he needed something from them that during that time he felt like he couldn't get. I could say that, like, it felt also like, especially as I got older, it did feel rigid to some degree.
Yeah.
It was very much like, these are the rules, you're following the rules, like, and I think that was because they were scared.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
you lose a child because he's hanging out with the wrong people and literally get shot and killed because somebody thought he was somebody else. So, like, I could understand how you tighten, the grips, and you feel like you're kind of in survival mode and you're holding on for dear life, and instead of being more open and trying to tap in and build more of that connection, I think it's like there was more rigidness that my brother didn't connect with. But for me, like, I was like, cool, like, I'm good with rules. I can do that. Like, we were good.
Even 8-year-old Elena could understand the value in the change in your parents, or are you speaking from adult Elena?
To be honest, I'm working through this in therapy. I don't have a lot of, like, vivid memories from like 8 to 13.
Okay.
Like, I don't have a lot of, like, oh, things were like great, like they were good, but like I don't have a lot of that. Like, I literally like don't remember. It feels like I kind of woke up at like 13, 14, like early high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, I'm literally working through it.
Yeah.
But I will say that, like, because I don't have those vivid memories, like, I can't say one way or the other, but I know for sure I don't feel bad. Like, I don't have bad memories of, like, what my life was like those few years right after my brother died. Because the craziest thing is like, my brother died, then my grandfather passed away, and then my mom's youngest sister died within 2 years of each other, all 3.
So you feel like that was the pivotal event that shaped the way your parents parented you all?
Yes. I think that continues to be the thing that comes up even now with my younger brother, with the crazy life decisions he's decided to make.
We'll save that for another episode.
Right.
I think so. It's interesting to look at our lives in themes and in seasons and spaces, and figuring out what is the central theme to how our parents parented us. And then, analyzing that to say, how did we take that and then in turn parent our children?
Yes.
So for me, my father, and we hate for this episode to be so heavy, y'all, but sometimes it just is heavy. It's real life. And so my father passed away when my brother and I were really young. I was 4, my brother was 2, leaving my mother as a 20-something widow. And so, just think of where you were when you were 20-something, still trying to figure out up from down. And not only are you figuring out for yourself, you're figuring it out as a young mom and as a young wife, and then you lose your husband. And so obviously at 4, my empathy probably wasn't kicking in yet.
Yeah.
So I only knew the version of my mother that was a widow in grief, I think.
Yep.
And I think that version of her is a very different version than she probably was before that horrible day, when she received a phone call. And so this version of my mom that I grew up knowing wasn't very emotional, wasn't very affectionate, and she had children that were. And so it was tough for me and my brother sometimes because it's like we were looking for that.
Yes.
And it's like she didn't have it to give. And as a child, as a young teen, I'm looking for like that connection. I was always looking for something to connect with. Like I was a girly girl and I was into all of the things. And I just felt like my mom was like the most laid back, nonchalant woman. And I would go to her for advice and she would be like, you got to figure it out. It was never this like opening that I felt. I'm like, girl, give me something.
Can I have a little bit more than
give
figure
me
it
something? And so in my experience, I didn't appreciate it. I didn't have the empathy that you had, but I think that has shifted as I've become a woman and a mother and a wife myself. And I put myself in her shoes and I'm just like, how did you do what you did?
Yeah.
So even though I didn't get the hugs that I wanted and the kisses and the I love yous and, even though we couldn't connect by watching my reality TV shows or, the things like that, I think about what she was able to give us, like a single mom who made sure we didn't miss not only a meal or having a roof over our heads, but we got the things we wanted. We got to, be in extracurricular activities and go on vacations and do these things that I'm now like, girl, how?
How did you do that?
What magic did you, perform in order for us to feel like we were the richest kids in the world? Right. And really we were lower middle class, like getting by.
And didn't skip a beat.
So quite literally. And I know that is the event that is the center of how she parented us. And we've talked about things over the years as I've become an adult, and here and there we have these discussions about decisions that she felt like she had to make or how things made us feel. And I find myself being a lot more forgiving and a lot more empathetic. But I also find myself like asking questions as now I'm a mom. And I'm like,
for sure.
Was that good enough though? Like I understand the why. And I understand you did your version of your best.
Yes.
But I grapple with, was that good enough? And who gets to decide? And so that question came up because as I'm talking to my husband about it, he's like, our moms sacrifice everything for us. Our moms do the very best they can. And we shouldn't judge our moms and we shouldn't be so harsh on our moms. And I'm like, but if we want to have open, honest, raw communication and relationship with our mothers, especially now as two grown women, at some point we do have to be honest about the parts that we felt weren't good enough and that have stuck with us as grown-ups.
Yeah.
That now translate into either us overcompensating or having blind spots with raising our own kids,
I agree 100% with that. I guess I would ask though is, do you feel like there is some beauty in the strength that she modeled, even though it wasn't emotional availability?
Yeah. When I think about the strong Black woman, like I feel like you could put my mom's picture in the dictionary. Like I think that she was my very first example of what that looked like, how to model that, how you, like I called her a magician, right? Like making something out of nothing, making sure if it is pouring down raining, your children don't get wet. Like the model of womanhood and sacrifice come directly from my mother's strength. And I don't think she had a choice. I think she didn't look to make excuses. I think she was like, these are my children, they are my responsibility, and I'm going to do my very best to do the best by them. And so while I do ask these lingering questions, I would be remiss to not acknowledge the fact that, like, I appreciate her more than words could ever say for what she was able to model, because now I carry that with me. She never had to say, you need to be a strong Black woman. You don't make excuses. You are supposed to be responsible. You are supposed to be respectful. She modeled these things for me.
Yeah.
And those are the invaluable, intangible things that I think, like, are imprinted on you as a Black woman.
Yes.
And even if people don't get it from their moms, they might get it from someone in the church or a teacher at school. But I think as Black women, we all have that story of somebody somewhere, like, modeling that for us, because I think it's such a shared experience that we feel like we have to operate in excellence at all times. There is no room.
50%. There's no room for error. No.
Yeah.
No, you're so right. I mean, so just like your mom was that model of strength, I think a lot of times, like, we model the things that we see in our household, not even knowing that, like, it's trauma.
Yeah.
Like, not even knowing that they're, like, survival tactics. And I will say that it hasn't been until, like, Duran and I had kids, and I remember when I was pregnant, and one thing that, like, growing up in my house was, like, kids are seen and not heard. And very much like a kid stays in a kid's place.
Yeah.
My dad grew up like that. My dad was also a Marine. So I got, like, the pastor and Marine dad merged together. Girl. So it was kind of crazy.
Bless it, because wow.
Girl. So, like, it's things like that, like, seen and not heard, that, like, when I got pregnant, Duran was like, we're not doing that. And I was like, what? He was like, that's traumatic. He was like, I don't want our son going around with, like, repressed emotions. And I was like, first of all, I was like, that's a lot. He's in my stomach. He's not even here yet. It was like, but okay, like, I'm picking up what you're putting down. You want to be able for him to speak freely. Duran grew up completely different. Like, Duran would ask questions of his parents that I would be like, you said what to them? Like, have you lost your mind? Like, why would you do that? And so, like, he was very vocal in, like, wanting to make sure, like, our kids had a safe space to be themselves, to emotionally dump. Like, and I feel like that was a learning curve for me. Like, I was very much like, do as I say, not as I do, seen, not heard. If I tell you to do something, you jump and ask how high. Like, that's the way I was raised. There weren't a lot of conversations about how do I feel about the thing that they just told me or asked me to do. It was, do it.
Do it.
Like, and so it was very different. I will say, though, that I thank Duran. I publicly thank my husband for being so vocal about this, because we have completely gone that direction and taken a 180 from the way that I was raised. And now my parents tell me all the time, the boys spent 2 weeks with them recently, and my parents are like, we are just so proud of you and Duran for the young men that you're raising, and they're, they're so mature and emotionally, like, available, and they want to talk to you, and, they're really engaged, and they're so smart and respectful. And I was just like, wow, thank you. Like, and
what a compliment.
Right? And I think it's because, like, for Duran, he didn't live the same way that I did. But, like, I think my parents now see the value in doing things differently. Like, and they see that in my kids, whereas I don't think my parents had the tools to do what I've done. with my kids. I don't think they could have done that with me and my brothers. Like, I just
Yeah.
don't think that that is something that they had, that, the tools in their toolbox. I just don't think that it was there.
That makes a lot of sense. And yay for you for leaning in when Jerron was like, this baby in
Whew.
said womb will
Yes.
have a voice in
He
said
will.
house.
Yes. And he does. And he uses it.
Good. I think, my baby's only one. And so I don't have a lot of like really rigid parenting things. We are getting to that point of like, do we give taps? Do we put them in the corner?
God,
We're there. So we're trying to navigate through that. But what I do know is that I pour so much affection into him. And I'm just like, every time I see you, I'm kissing your face. I'm hugging your neck.
You're
like, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm overcompensating. But I do know that I want to make it a point to be vocal about my love and affection for him. Because I want him to know that that's normal. Especially as a little Black boy. Like, you need to know that it's normal to show emotion and to love people and to love people out loud.
And to vocalize it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I wouldn't say my childhood or the way I was parented has affected how I raise my son yet. But I will say in my marriage, I've seen where the way I was raised has like started creeping in.
Ooh,
because yeah, my husband is a love you out loud till the ends of the earth, right? And it makes me uncomfortable sometimes to reciprocate it. We didn't have a really affectionate house. And so I go out of my way to do it to my baby. And I don't know if it's because I feel like, oh, he's mine. I made him.
He's yours, yeah.
But I'm finding like it's this wall different. That I'm trying. It is, and it's a different kind of love, right?
It is. I'm not, girl, my laughter was not a judgment. I'm going to put that out there. It was not. Because I am not the my man type of girl either.
But I want to be. How do I become a my man girl? I
don't know. Maybe it's genetic. I have no earthly clue.
We need some background. We need to phone a friend because he does do such a good job. I have a friend who is
like that. And she literally tells her kids, she has girls, and she tells them to sit down because it is all about her husband. My man. And everybody knows. And she also knows I am not that girl because Creed and Carter are the sun, the moon, the stars, and I just rotate around. Like, I know that is backwards, but like they are everything.
It's backwards. But see,
everything.
I don't feel like that. I know that my marriage comes first. I do.
Yes.
I know it and I feel it. But vocalizing it, like he's like, I love you so much. I miss you so much. And I'm like, thank you.
We do. That's why we're married. I think the thing is like, I don't even know if that's a you didn't have that at home versus that just might not be how you show love.
But no, that's not true because I want to.
The fact that you want to, maybe.
I want to.
I don't want to. I'm good. I'm so good.
He
knows where he sits
energy.
And he knows he's at the top. But I can't also, he's not like that either. So
that's different.
Like that. But yeah, that's a different level of energy.
It really is. And I think it also has a lot to do with what you saw modeled and normalized and around you. I really do. Because I have friends who came from that and they are very much so that. And I am just like, Lord, I'm coming to you as humbly as I know how to give me some words of affection and affirmation for my husband. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
And I probably should ask him that. Like this will be the first time he's heard me say this on this podcast. So maybe I should tell him before this episode comes out. I should touch base.
That might be a good idea.
Do you
Um,
feel some type of way that I am
you
not
could
as
you could just be like, this is like feedback session. Is there something more that I could be doing
literally?
to match the my woman, my woman, my woman energy on my side so I can be more aligned? Ask him if he even cares. I ask
If
Duran
he
stuff all
can't,
the time,
right?
and Duran be like, "Girl, I don't care," and I be like, "Go,
What are you talking about?
okay." I was over here stressed, and he could care absolutely less. So you never know. He might be like, "I don't care."
So let me ask you this: what is one lesson growing up that was positive that has stuck with you from your parents?
If you start something, you finish it.
That's
I
a
will
good
tell
one.
you, Eric and Connie did not play.
Mm-hmm.
If I decided I ran track from middle school all the way to college. I did like club travel track in the summer, had my mama flying and driving all around the Midwest. Like, but if you started it, you finished it. Like, there wasn't oh, I thought I really liked this and I want to quit. Like, there was none of that. And I will say that it has worked well for us thus far,
Mm-hmm.
especially when Creed started football last year and he cried the first
Oh,
3 weeks. His arms hurt, his legs hurt. He didn't like to get hit. Like, but they're little.
yeah.
They're like 45 pounds. Like, they're not like hitting each other like that. And I'm like, you hit your brother harder than that at home. So, like, what are you talking about? So, like, we were just like, no, like, you started it, we're finishing it. Like, and if you don't like football by the end of the season and this isn't your thing, we can check it off the list and move on to something else. But I
Mm-hmm.
promise you, like, he had a really great practice one day and he was in and he was locked in. And he was like, Mommy, did you see
Yeah.
that? And they were cheering for me and my coach said I did a great job. And girl, he's never complained since. And I just
Oh.
was like, Duran and I struggled of like, do we let him quit? Like the crying just was like, I was like, I don't want to traumatize him. Like,
Yeah.
but I also am like, I think that he can do it. And I'm glad that we didn't let him quit because like he loves it now. And and not only has he found a community with his team and they have now gone from 7U last year, now they're 8U, they're all playing again together. Like
Mm-hmm.
Duran and I have also found like a group of friends, in the parents. So like it is truly a community. And I will say that like if we let him quit, like we wouldn't have that. And I don't think that you don't find that very often.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would say like if we started, we finishing it. That was
Love
the
that.
biggest thing. Yeah.
I love that. I think for us, it was all about the value of education. Um, Literally, like there was no room to play around once you walk through the doors of the schoolhouse.
Period.
And my mom modeled that for us. As we've been talking about, she was a single mom of 2 kids. Then it became my sister came along. Then it was the three of us. And she would work a job during the day. She would take care of us, and then she would go to night school to get her bachelor's degree. And watching her do that, I think,
Mm-hmm.
instilled in us what she had been preaching of how important
Yes.
it was to take your education seriously and why you need to be educated, not just so you can have a degree, but so that you can know how to ask questions and you can know how to analyze things, and no one can pull the wool over your eyes and no
Right.
one can take away your power. And so for my husband and I, like, we have a 1-year-old and we're already talking about like what districts will we live in, what type of schools will
Oh,
he go
girl.
to,
Yes.
which is like the Hunger
Yeah.
Games when you're trying to get your kid into
Hunger
the best
Games.
school possible.
Literally. Also, like, be willing to sell your house and your car
Yeah,
and literally up and move. Duran and I literally just had this
absolutely.
conversation on vacation. We
Oh,
almost put our house up for sale last week
and
to
y'all just
move.
got this house.
I know. Girl,
Just
I'm like, if football is the thing, we need to be in this certain school district that's literally across the main street from us. Like literally 1 minute driving down our main street. I'm like, you have to be kidding me.
Oh.
I couldn't have moved just there. So, girl, it's all the things. But yes, like it is the Hunger Games. You will do all the craziest things you never thought possible to get your kids in the right school district.
In the right schools. It means the very most to us.
Yeah.
And the end conclusion for this episode is, who gets to decide if your parents' best was good enough?
Drum roll. I say it's you as the child.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, like, children that are now adults have the right to determine whether or not they got what they needed. But I think outside of that, it's like, then what do you do about it?
Yes.
So, like, if there was a deficit and you didn't feel like you got what you needed, it is no longer your parents' responsibility to, like, fill the void as an adult. You have to do that work. Deja knows how I feel about therapy. I think everybody should have a therapist. Like, get somebody, a unbiased third-party person to listen to you, to help you navigate the emotions that, like, family and friends may or may not even want to hear and or may not even be equipped to help you navigate.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think it is so important. Like, they may not have been everything you needed, but my thing is, like, unless there was, like, abuse or neglect or something really bad, I'm like, if you made it to be an adult, they did something right. And now it's on you to figure out how to make yourself happy. Fill the gaps where they couldn't. And that's where I'm at. And I think everybody, plug for all the therapists out there, like, everybody needs one.
We probably should invite one to the podcast one of these days to unpack.
I think we should.
Some of these things. I agree with you 1,000%. I do think it is the adult child gets to decide if their parents' best was good enough. But it is not for them to then give you a grade from A to F and then put the paper on the parent's desk and say, this is the grade you got. Right. I think you decide whether your parents' best was good enough for you so that you could then decide what that deficit is, as you just stated, and do the work to work on it.
Yes.
They've done their part. They've done their part.
There's nothing
now
else to do.
You have to do your part. And if their best wasn't good enough, you have to figure out, how do I fill these voids? How do I compensate for the things that I may have been missing? And how do I not make the same mistakes that I feel twice? Exactly. When you know better, you do better. And then it becomes your responsibility, not their fault.
It's not their fault. And that's one thing I think that burns me up, like, is when I hear people who have the wherewithal and, like, the access to professionals or who just decide not to.
Yeah.
Why are you complaining about your mama? You 35 years old. Like, I'm confused.
You have mama issues, but you need to go fix them.
Fix them.
Go fix
Your
them.
mother is one. Why you don't come home for Thanksgiving? Like, and you just disappeared or, like, stop talking to her. Like, if you have that much animosity or the issues are that deep, like, for me, it's like, I would rather, like, fix me than blame my parents, who at this point just want me in their life. They want my kids in their life. Like, yes, they are willing to have conversations, but, like, what is done is done.
Yep.
And they cannot retroactively go back and give me the things that 10, 11, or 12-year-old Elena needed. Like, they can't do that. So instead of, like, continuing to blame them, it's like, fix it. Acknowledge it, put a name on it, and fix it. Yeah.
This was good, girl.
I just think that, like, this is, like, just such a universal topic.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody, like no matter your race or your background, like everybody has things that have happened in their family that you're like, why do my parents like, why did they do that? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and and I think the powerful thing is like we have the ability to now make decisions for ourselves. Like if our listeners have kids, for your kids, for how you decide to, show up in your relationships, like this is our opportunity to say, thank you, but I'm going to do it this way
Yep.
and rewrite the narrative. Make the future like work for you and like don't make your past be the thing that like weighs you down. Like it doesn't have to.
Well, guys, if you don't agree with us and you think that your parents get to give themselves the final grade on how they raised you, let us know. We would love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time on Everything Eventually, the podcast.
Bye.